Hello, cyber citizen. I'm your tech lady, and welcome into the Cyberverse. Into the Cyberverse is your favorite cybersecurity podcast that invites top experts to help you unravel the complex world of cybersecurity one bite at a time. And today we have here a very special person that if you Google his name, it will turn out the best hacker in Vietnam, once sentenced to 13 years in prison in the US. He's now a very active anti-scammer, Hiếu PC. Hi Hiếu.
Hi,
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
If you are ready, let's go.
Into the Cyberverse.
Let's break the ice first. We have collected a series of 10 questions from your fans and audience watching the show. And your task is very easy, that try to answer the question as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Shall we go?
Yes.
Okay. What name do people usually refer you by?
Hiếu PC.
What does PC in your name stand for?
Personal computer.
OTP, SMS, or Google Authenticator app?
My choice is Google Authenticator.
Google Authenticator app or Google Passkey?
Google Passkeys.
Your facial reaction the first time you successfully hacked something?
Say yes.
Finally.
Finally.
Okay. What is the biggest thing you ever hacked?
US citizen database.
Okay, the thing
Right.
that you are very famous for.
Right.
What is the biggest thing you've ever protected?
Multi-millions of people in Vietnam against scam and phishing.
Though you are the founder of an anti-scam organization,
Yeah.
has any one of your loved ones been scammed recently?
Yes, that's a very good question though. One of my relatives, she got scammed. She got lured into in investments application, and then she called me. She wanted to borrow some money, and I told her, man, this may be sounded to be like so fishy, man. You know, like it could be a scam. So I sent her some, articles on the newspaper, to tell her that this should be this kind of scam. It's called like fake job and investment scam. And then she didn't believe me, so she kept going. So until at midnight, she called me, she cried a lot. And totally she lost over 15,000 US dollar.
Okay. Name your 3 favorite news channels to keep you updated with the world.
The first one, the Hacker News. The second one is Cyber Threat Intel, very popular channel in Telegram. And the third one is the Cyber News. Yeah.
Okay. And name 3 people you admire the most in the cybersecurity field.
One of my best friend could be my best friend, His name Kevin Mitnick. But he just passed away a few months ago. He was one of very well-known hacker. And the second one is Mr. Thai from Google. He was a former security engineer. And the third one is Mr. Jack Doe. I very admire him.
Okay, and the last one, a secret that hackers never want people to know.
They always have like private group and private communities.
Are they white hat or black hat or gray hat?
A lot of black hats. They making like illegal money.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you a lot. We got some points about you, and let's discover in the next sections. Now let's talk about latest news.
Yeah.
What is the recent cyber attacks in Vietnam or around the world that surprised you the most, and why?
The most impacting cybersecurity attack right now is ransomware attack. And the second one should be, and still going on for many years, is phishing attack. And the third one is the scam pandemic problem. It should be globally right now. And so many scam centers around the world, especially in Southeast Asia, so many. They have cyber slave and they attacking people in many different countries, even Vietnam. And that's why Vietnam and also many other countries around the world, they've been, a lot of victims losing money, left and right.
You have just mentioned that the very popular forms of cyber attacks, which are ransomware, phishing attack, and then scam. But not everyone watching the show, they are familiar with the terms. So can you please explain them in a very simple words for them to know what they are?
Sure. Ransomware is a kind of malware, a virus. For instance, like my computer got infected, right? Got encrypted everything. So they will say that you have to pay like $500 or $1,000 to Bitcoin. And they will give you the Bitcoin wallet in that message. That's how they call ransomware. And the second one is phishing. Phishing, usually they try to, they go fishing, but basically they go fishing. They will try to send you multiple ways of the malicious links that impersonates of government website, social media website, email, or could be anything.
SMS.
Right. After that, they lure you to click on the link, and on that link, they will try to steal your username, password, OTP, and even like sometimes they steal your credit card information, bank account information. So different kind of scam targeting different industry on different information. But basically, at the same time, it's all about getting or stealing your data.
Okay. Do you have any real life example or case study about what they lost and how they lost their things?
Yeah. Nowadays, a lot of hackers, they using phishing as a service platform. And the phishing as a service platform, very easy to use. A lot of newbie hackers, non-tech hackers, they still can use it. It provides many different tools for targeting different users in different platforms. For instance, like Facebook, Instagram, Google, Microsoft, even like TikTok, they have too. So the hacker, kind of like a non-skilled hacker, they don't have too much knowledge. They don't need to have too much knowledge about hacking. They can pick and choose. For instance, right? I can pick Facebook. I press 1 for Facebook. It pop out more options, like I want to, impersonate as Facebook with a traditional login page or advanced voting poll login page, or even like Facebook Messenger login page. But I want to create kind of like, the fake security login page. I press 3. And now I just press 1, for this disable on the local machines. After that, just copy the link, the threat actor, they may send to text message, send to email, or could be they can manipulate user go to the link, right? So for instance, they go to this link, right? And I type something like NA, right? And like 1, 2, 3, whatever. And the password could be something like strong, strong pass, whatever, or password 1, 2, 3, very strong, whatever. Okay, very long password, right?
Very strong.
Very strong. Okay, lock it. Okay, after that, it redirect them to the threat actor. They can redirect to any website, Facebook, Google, whatever. Any threat actor, they can see in real time the account, the password. One case that very surprised me that how easily they get the money nowadays. This person, he is a Vietnamese, but living in Germany. So when his Facebook account got hacked, and the hacker used his Facebook account to borrow money the people in Vietnam, and end up the people in Vietnam lost more than $25,000 just one transaction. And after that, got lucky, everything got situated. His account got, he restored his account, but the consequence is already done and cannot fix anymore. And because the hacker, they use the fake bank account, they buy on the black market, and they transfer the money. After that, they took the bank account. So it's very difficult for the law enforcement to be able to track down the cyber criminal. And the second case is very dangerous and also damaging a lot to a victim, not only about financially, but also like mentally, is romance scam. One case that I see that this person, this lady, she have a very high position of a big corporation in Vietnam. But most of the romance scam, right? When a victim, they got scammed, they never contact the police. They never want to report because they worry about reputation, their credits. They feel ashamed. So they very quiet about that. But this lady, she contacted me and she told the whole story. She got scammed like more than 600,000 US dollar within 3 months. So usually a scam happen with romance scam. They will lure the victim. They send them some gifts, money. They be friends with them, and sharing personal story, making friends with them, and they fall in love. So after that, they lure them into like investment platform, and that's how they got scammed.
Okay, you have just mentioned a very interesting term
Right.
that I still remember, that phishing attack.
Right.
How are people reacting to the phishing attack? Is it a very high wave right now,
Right.
or is it just like the start of phishing as an attack?
Right now, the rate is very high
Oh my
of the phishing
goodness.
attack. And Vietnam is always like currently in the top country in Southeast Asia of the phishing attack.
Oh my God! So do you have any kind of solution for that issue?
One of the best solutions is the not using password.
Yeah.
We so-called the passwordless, which means like we don't use password. We don't need to remember anything. So there is no password for the
Phishing.
hacker to fish.
Okay.
Usually because they have to fish for username and password, right?
Okay.
And OTP to be able to log in the account. So there is no password.
So nothing to fish.
Right, nothing to fish in. So
Not everyone are familiar with the term passwordless
Right.
authentication. So please explain it a little bit. What is it, and who is it for? How the world is applying it?
passwordless is, we can call something very simple. Password is, something that we use in nowadays, right? Something we know, something we need to remember, right?
Yeah.
But less is something that, like we don't need that. We remove that from our
You don't need to
memory.
remember anything.
Memory. So there's no password to remember. Basically, passwordless is something that you don't need to remember. And you need a security token or passkey. You have to verify by, your biometrics, fingerprint, or even like your eyes, what they call the eyes iris. You have to use your biometrics to be able to secure your account and log in into your account. That's the way to the future. Think about that, invest for little, but in the long term, it brings a lot of benefits, good benefits.
Okay. Then we can understand it very simply, easily, that passwordless authentication is no password authentication.
password.
You don't need to remember anything. And one point that I got from what you have just said, very interesting, that we have to remember password. Because it's something something you have to remember. We don't have just one password during our life. We have a lot of online accounts, which means that we have to have a lot of password. Some people, they just choose to use one password for multiple accounts, and
That's normally. A lot of people, they don't change their password. They can use that for many years, and one password they use for many different accounts.
Yeah.
And when that password got leaked, somehow, some way, because not only you got hacked, the platform you use could be get hacked.
Okay.
And many incidents like that, social media platform constantly got hacked, right?
Yeah.
And this password put up on the dark web marketplace, and
Okay.
they sell it. Sometimes they sell for free though.
Oh my goodness.
You know, that's how they obtain this password, and using software to brute force or guessing your password. Based on that list, they lock it into your account easily.
So which means that, for example, you got my Facebook password,
Right.
you can like very likely get my bank account
Right.
password and some other things. It's gonna become a very massive impact
Yes,
on
right.
not only me myself, but also if you hack the passwords of an organization, it's gonna be the massive impact of
Massive impact.
the whole organization. And because we have to remember so many different passwords, if you don't use one password for multiple accounts, you have to create many different passwords, and it's gonna be like a very
Complicated to remember.
yeah, it's very hard to
Right.
remember. So we use password managers.
Sometimes they get hacked.
And the
It should
password
be
man-
like,
the
you know,
password
like,
manager get hacked also. And another thing is that the password manager is secured by a password also.
also, you need one password, the master password.
Yeah, another password to secure
protect.
other password. So it's so complicated. And I
Right.
can sum it up like that. Password is no longer secure, like what you say.
That's true.
I have a very fun question. I always ask people that, do you know what was the first organization ever that got lost, financial loss, due to password hacked?
Well, a very big cybersecurity company in the US, just a few years ago. You know, cybersecurity company got hacked. That's one of the first case I see, based on my knowledge.
Oh
But-
my God.
right. So I remember the former intern employee, right? This person put up a very simple password, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, stuff like that. And after that, this person, you know, didn't work for this company anymore. But the account is still there. So the hacker, they got that account. And they guessed in the password, they got into the system. Somehow, some way, this account got a very high privilege, like permission, into the system. So this hacker, they try to escalate into a higher level of the system to like root account or administration account. After that, they gain access into the internal database, steal the short code, steal the database, and it bring up a lot of damage that uncountable damage to the company reputation, a cybersecurity company, you know, and the customer
Trust.
could be facing a lot of cyber threats in the future that we don't know, and the money lost could be millions US dollar, could be more, we don't know. Nobody can be able to count that because they got like invisible threats, and that's very dangerous, and it could be happen anytime, right?
It's a very realistic case, but because I told you that my question is a fun question,
Right.
then let me tell you the answer that the first organization ever that got hacked their passwords and
Right.
lost a lot of money. Do you
Which one?
remember the story about Alibaba
Alibaba.
and the 40 thieves?
Right.
Do you remember their password? Open System. And Alibaba and his brother got the password Open System.
Okay.
And then when the 40 thieves were not there, they just said Open System and they got a lot of treasure out.
Oh, okay.
It's a story about
That's the first.
That's the first
that should be like a
organization.
tale, though.
Yeah, but like it was
A tale story.
the story was started from the 18th century, which means that from 18th century, ancient people try to tell people that hey, password is not good enough for you.
At first, you told me Alibaba. I
You
thought
remember
about like
Alibaba, the real company,
the real
right?
company. I said no.
No, it's a
I never
total
heard
story.
about that. They got hacked like that. So it should be like
Now you remember the story, right?
okay. So now it's like a tale story. There.
But you remember it, right?
Okay,
Open
okay.
System. So Open System got hacked. The password got hacked. It's
So
a, it's
they
a
don't
clue.
use password less though.
So I got a very fun post on my LinkedIn that what if the 40 thieves had used password-led authentication, so we didn't have the story to tell anymore. So we see many problems with password. Number one, it's not secured. Number two, as we
Easy
said,
to forget.
yeah, it's about user experience. So cumbersome.
So,
And the last one is about money.
Money.
Not only like what you have just said, many evidence that when people and when organizations lost their passwords, they can got in many financial loss, reputation loss, and even legal problem.
Legal.
But also password management costs a lot of operational money for that.
because they have to rotate the password.
Yes. Then I'm wondering how is the world applying passwordless authentication? How people are accepting it and adopting it individually and organizationally and even like nationally? Do you have any information?
Globally, like right now, many companies in the world, they care about, they're concerned about security and privacy of the customer. They lots of the social media platform and even the email platform right now, they integrate passwordless or passkey into their environment as a security option. That's a very good news. And they also show the introduction, how to set up, so easy, just a few steps, click, and done, Even they have video to introduce how to set up that too. So most of the online platform right now, they have that. It's showing global companies, basically tech company nowadays, they adapting passwordless effectively, and they also recommend the people and their user to use that. So that's some kind of good news, very good news. And I believe in the future, more platform in the world and also in Vietnam, they will integrate that as a security option.
You have just mentioned passkeys. We can say that passkeys is a form of password-led authentication.
Yeah.
Personally, like me, I activated passkey for all my Google accounts. Right now, I no longer use password
Okay.
anymore. I just use passkey, very easy, just one touch.
One touch.
Yeah,
Right.
just one touch, my fingerprint,
touch.
and then everything done. And I really like that experience.
You like that?
When you say that many big company, big tech giants in the world, they are applying passwordless authentication not only for inside the organization but also for their customers.
Right.
So you remind me of my experience with
Right.
Google, and as far as what I know, not only Google, Microsoft, also TikTok. Samsung, Apple, they are developing and
Right.
adopting passwordless authentication.
That's true.
Okay,
Right.
so it's much more convenient.
Right, convenient.
And if like what you say, because it's passwordless, so no more password for phishing, so we can get rid of the second most common
Right.
cyber attack globally, which is phishing attack.
Right.
So it's more secure.
More secure.
Like what I study and research, not only companies, not only individuals like me using passkey and password-led authentication, but also some governments, some country, they are trying to adopting password-led authentication or FIDO 2
right.
into their government system to make it more secure. To make it more convenient for their people to use, and yeah, most importantly, more for security.
For security of important and sensitive data.
Okay.
Nowadays, the best way to apply right now is from the high level position with the people who have high privilege to access like internal data. They should apply in passwordless right now. That should be the best way for them to protect their company or even like government data. So after that, everything it could be go slowly to the lower level employees to be able to apply, because we need to maintain the cost of that, So that's very important to get to that, to raise awareness to that kind of high level first until, for the general population. People right nowadays, right? We use a lot of social media. We've been on social media platform a lot. And we put up a lot of information on there. Sometimes sensitive information, like password, credit card information, sometimes the PIN code to open the door. If somebody asks you, right? Sometimes your
yep,
mom
yep,
or somebody asks you, you just send it. That's it.
That's what I do
Right.
usually.
Right? Right? And then this information could be stolen. If your account, got hacked or got stolen. So the best way right now is, to apply and to feel a sense of security, protecting yourself, is using the option. For instance, in Facebook, they have that option, security key. You click on that and you can set up. The whole process is very easy and simple. And you plug in your USB passwordless FIDO too. And after that, yeah, you're done. Every time you log in, you don't have to remember any password. You can use your fingerprint or even like plug in the USB. And then the process is, you get used to that, right?
As what you said, that the number one priority, the number one solution to make passwordless authentication can be adopted more and more. What is the...
To remove that fear, to remove the burden of that,
So it's about awareness of
awareness
No.
for people.
That's why you are trying so hard to educate people
Right.
and raise their awareness due to passwordless authentication, cybersecurity, and how
Right.
to protect themselves
Right.
online. And you have just mentioned Facebook, and you remind me my real life experience once again, that you remember that in the beginning of March, on the 5th March, that Facebook got some problems
Got
that
shut down, right? Worldwide.
no one could log in at that night.
And what happened to you? You got so nervous?
No, I was the one who were really confident.
Confident.
I was so confident that
So calm, right?
because people say, "Oh my God, I got hacked! I could not log in into my account."
Suddenly got locked out. Right.
They thought that they got
Right.
hacked by some hackers,
Right.
maybe like by your PC. but I was so confident that I say, no, it's normal, because even if someone got my password, my Facebook password, they could not log in, because the second factor I got is the security key.
Oh, you got a security.
I think that at the point of time they cannot do anything
right,
with
right.
my security key. So
Because you have your private key in your pocket.
yeah,
So.
yeah, it's something I have. It's
Something
not
you
something
have.
I know,
Right,
right?
something you
then
have.
then I was really confident that I say, okay,
Yeah.
to try.
Yeah, that's very good point though. That powerless is something that you have, something you carry with you, and that's physically.
Uh-huh.
That's not something virtual.
Uh-huh.
So even the only way they can hack you is they try to steal, or they try
Just
to
come to my house.
right, or they try to pressure you to get you take the
Okay.
key from you.
Okay. So I just usually have a joke with people that if someone wanna get your security key or passkey or whatever it is about passwordless authentication,
They had to kidnap you.
yeah, they must be someone that are really close to you to come to your house and take your thing.
Right.
Or maybe the only hacker that you need to be aware of is your wife and your husband. Because yeah,
For
right. So until now, I see that passwordless authentication is a solution.
Right.
Is a solution, and
solution.
everyone should know about that.
And when the more people start using it, and they feel the sense of how easy to use it, the cost of that gets decreasing, cheaper and
Okay.
cheaper. So it's become like, so popular, will be like so popular products for the people.
Makes sense. So it's gonna be like approachable, accessible
right.
to everyone.
Right.
Actually, that at this point of time, like you are using Facebook, like what I do, Google, we can enable the passkey for free.
For free, yeah.
Yeah.
With your phone. Right.
Yeah. Right now, moving back to your personal experience, because you are an anti-scammer, as what you have just shared, you try to raise people awareness. You try to shout out to the world and to people that, hey, protect yourself online. Do you fight and do you face any challenges during your work as an anti-scammer?
A lot of challenges. Basically that, when you try to do something good for the society, always there's something bad want to attack you, basically like bad people, because we try to against this cyber criminal, right? So they try to put up a lot of fake news, a lot of false information, try to discredit about this problem. try to bring the people away from that awareness. And somehow, some way, they even like impersonate me to scam the people. As
I
well.
saw
So,
your
right.
post on Facebook about someone
Right.
on Telegram.
Telegram a lot, like even on Facebook, Telegram, because the people they know me, so they impersonate me, they pretend to be me, and they scam the people. Like a lot of them very easy, simple, because usually, right, people when they got hacked or they got scammed, they will try to contact me, and this third actor pretend to be me, and they provide service.
So double scam.
Double scam, double scam technically. So they ask the victim have to send to this third actor money first, and after that they gone. They block the account, everything gone. They clear the history chat, it's gone. And I'm constantly telling the people about this. That's why like always good and bad always side by side. Kind of like try to go into the war and competing each other every single day, kind of non-stop, right? But I hope in the future, the awareness of the people in Vietnam is getting better, and the people care more about their privacy, their identity, and so on that point, we can be easy to raise them awareness about password class and adapt it to their security officer. Right.
You mentioned a lot about impersonation.
Impersonation.
Then any solution for people to get rid of it?
The best way, slow down. You need to slow down. We in the digital world, a modern world right now. We don't need to run. We don't need to run a marathon, right? But when something happens, something strange happens, you need to slow down and be able to confirm and verify the information before making any transaction or sending out your identity information. So slow down for at least 5 seconds, verify, and you'll be fine.
Okay.
On the internet now.
Okay. How can I know if it's real HillPC or a fake HillPC?
Yeah. Like on Twitter or on Facebook, right? They have do back the blue check.
Okay.
That's why it's called a verified or official account. So yeah, you can check that. When somebody try to pretend me even on Telegram or on like on Facebook, on Twitter, very easy. Just check that.
And if someone try to impersonate your loved ones, your closer
Right.
people, relative, family people, just try to call the real one to verify it, right?
Right.
Okay.
The best way is to call to the phone number. It's all about taking for a few seconds. You verify.
That's what you say. Just
Right.
slow down.
Slow down. When you slow down, you can think.
Yeah.
But when you're too fast, you don't think. You just click, send. Right.
We need to like do zero trust.
Zero search. Right.
Yeah,
You
because
just a few, but just verify everything.
Okay. We've mentioned a lot of cyber attack terms, which are ransomware, phishing,
And
scam, and we have just what we have just said is impersonation. So currently, it is very common, so common that we can be aware of it right here, right now. But do you foresee? Because right now we have a lot of emerging technologies like AI. IoT, so forth and so on. So can you foresee the future scenario, any other type of cyber attacks that now it is not widely recognized, but in the near future is going to be a significant threat?
One of the most impacting cyber threat that I so worry about that is about deepfake.
Deepfake.
Right, deepfake. On Telegram, they have many groups like that. They selling deepfake software for cyber criminal to use. Very cheap, though. Like $20 to $50 a month. So I can use that. And for instance, right, when I want to scam you, and you are a CEO of a company, right? For instance, and then get your CFO profile picture on social media. Of course, somehow, some way I get it because we own both this, right?
Yep.
On LinkedIn, on social media, and then it's still that picture. And then along with that, we try to get his voice. Maybe at least from 1 to 3 minutes for minimum, a good quality audio. And then after that, I will clone his voice using the original audio files that I found on the internet. Could be on YouTube. Somehow, some way, he got an interview on YouTube, whatever, right? Okay, so clone that voice along with using the deepfake software. I can be able to talk to you, retain as your CFO.
Okay.
And talk to you, asking for, okay, we have a deal right now, like buying some products for company, but I need your approval. And this is the account number, whatever. So when I got your approval, send the money, and then the company lose the money.
We have the threat ahead.
Right.
Do we have solution for it?
The solution right now for deepfake detection, they have some deepfake technology detection, but it's of course these kind of service cost some money. Depend on the company they want to use that or not. It's still about not because the amounts of cyber attack related to deepfake is not too many right now, and not many companies they care too much about that. So I don't think not this year, but maybe in the next 5 years, the people start to get to know more about it, and they have to apply deepfake detection, even in real time, and to protect their companies against cyber attack like that, for not losing money. So I guess the industries of deepfake detection technologies will get so popular, and it could be a need, a very very special need in the future for many companies that they do care about it.
Okay, that is in the organizational level.
Right.
Individual
Right.
level, I think that, like what you said, first of all, we need to be slowed down.
Slow down. Because usually a case related to individual, the threat actor, they don't care much about technical stuff. So sometimes they prepare for a cyber attack related to deepfake. They don't prepare for a good quality deepfake. So it's very easy to tell, when you can see the skin or the eyes or even the structure of the face, you can tell this is a fake,
Okay.
If a person, they do pay attention. But for older people, it's very difficult. That's one of the things. Elderly, I am guarantee with you, they can't tell is it a fake or not. So a lot of cyber attack right now, they targeting elderly. Could be your mom, could be my mom. One day they got scammed like that. That's how in a way that the government around the world, they try to boost up more cybersecurity awareness materials, especially just for elderly people, because they're very vulnerable. They can't tell, even you give them a phishing email, a phishing text message, they can't tell is it a malicious link or not. You can tell, right? I can
We
tell.
can.
But not
The
them.
old, not.
They don't know. Even you tell them to set up the password or even set up the passkey, they don't know how to use it, right? So I'm guaranteed your mom still use password.
Yeah,
It's true?
true.
My mom too. If I tell them to set up the passkey, or even I set up for them, later on they don't use. They don't know how to use. Right? So that's very vulnerable. Right. Right.
Besides about the awareness,
Right.
because as you know that raising awareness for the young like us is easy, much easier than
More
the
easier.
older
Older.
or the older generation. So beside awareness that we can do right here, right now, also technology adoption. like what we said.
Right.
When we like 100% people using password-less authentication, it's going to be a different future.
Different future.
Yeah.
That should be much better future.
Uh-huh.
But again, threat actor, hacker, they keep update.
They
their
keep
stuff.
update. They can try to
They
find a
practice,
way.
You know,
Yeah.
they
Try
don't stop though.
Uh-huh.
They will catch up with that, and they will find a way.
Okay.
Just me, they don't stop right there. They will find a way. For real.
So what we have to do is that always update
Update.
your awareness, your information, update about, and know how to protect yourself. Because when I enter cybersecurity field, I know that, oh my God, I was very
Vulnerable,
naive
right?
and vulnerable when before I entered this field. I sent a lot of sensitive information online, and then and I got lost like 1.5 billion Vietnam dong.
So the thief, they stole everything.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And I think that awareness is very important.
Yeah.
And first of all, people need to know that they need to protect themselves online. Because right now, technology is indispensable in our life. We rely on it. We eat with technology. We sleep with technology, right? Which means that we are not only living in real life like this, but also on digital world like cyberverse.
Right, so
Then that's why they need to know that, hey, you need to protect yourself.
right.
With that awareness first, and then we need to adopt the latest technology to protect ourselves. It's been very nice talking to you and see what's next in the digital threats and see the evolution of cyber attack through time. At the end of each episode, we usually invite guests to have fun challenge to your fans and audience. I know that people are waiting for it too. So what is your challenge?
Either one, yeah, you know, ranking for the best security password to the lowest one, the weakest one.
Okay.
So I will give a few options like that. So I will select by order from high to low.
Okay.
Right.
Here we go.
Here we go.
As technology is becoming more and more indispensable in our life, then knowing how to protect yourself in the cyberverse is very important. And right now, password-less authentication is considered one of the best protection methods at this point of time. Protect yourself, your organization, and your customer. Thank you, HillBC, for your time and your insights.
Yeah.
We are more than happy to have you here today.
Thank you.
And to all cyber citizens, don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video to your loved ones. And let's venture into the cyberverse in the next episode.